So, folks, Democrats are going to win the government shutdown. It just is becoming more obvious by the day. It's becoming more obvious by the day. You know, we've talked about this for a while now, and I gotta tell you guys, you know, I think we got it. Republicans are becoming more and more squeamish with how things are going, more and more uncomfortable with the ranting and raving of the Mad King Trump. And as they become more uncomfortable, Democrats are easing into this position of being essentially the antagonists to the Republicans. And frankly, they're doing a pretty good job. Here's Patty Murray for Washington speaking earlier today.
Just because you can't justifiably hate soldiers doesn't mean you can't justifiably hate police. We know their demographics.
It's true. Google police 40%. Anyway, moving on. Sake Tanuki, thank you for the 2 tier 1 subs.
The 10 states facing the biggest healthcare increases if Republicans refuse to act, all red states. West Virginia, looking at a 387% rate hike for families that rely on ACA tax credits. Wyoming, 382%. Alaska, 346% rate hike. Tennessee, 320%. Mississippi, 314%. That is 5 red states where premiums are going to more than quadruple for families that rely on those tax credits. But you know what? Let's keep going. Let's do the next 5. These are states where the average premium will more than triple for families relying on the tax credits. Texas, 289% increase. South Carolina, 285%. Alabama, 284%. South Dakota, 235%. And North Dakota, 234%. So there you have it. The 10 states facing the...
I mean, like, frankly, that's devastating. That's a mic drop moment, right? Like, you're going to see your health insurance monthly premium, the monthly amount you pay just to have for the privilege of having health insurance, go up, if you're in Texas, by 289%. 289%! Hardly anyone can pay that kind of an increase. Like, even if you're doing okay, if your family plan goes up 289%, you're boned. And now, are a bunch of people, a bunch of conservatives watching Patty Murray from Texas? No, but you know what is going to happen? News of those price increases is going to trickle down to the working folks of Texas. And they're going to start going, wait a minute. What do you mean our premiums are going to go up? What do you mean our health insurance is going to go up by that much? What do you mean? That's wild. And I think that overall, this message is going to puncture through because the working folks of this country, they need that health care. It's the only way they can get that health care. This is a life and death issue for folks, and they can't afford to not pay attention to it. Honest question, are Democrats fighting to save people in these red states while Russell Vought brags about ending investment in blue states, just doing more ineffective, high-minded signaling? No, because this is genuinely like an issue. One of the major demands Democrats are making here is to basically save all of America from these types of premium increases, because it's not just blue states that are going to be affected, it's red states as well. And they know that the name of the game is building up political pressure in red states against conservative lawmakers. That is the entire premise of holding the line here, is that they are slowly amping up the pressure on conservative lawmakers day by day, hour by hour, in order to get them to buckle and bend the knee and actually come to the negotiating table to save healthcare for America, right? This is actually not just high-minded rhetoric. It actually matters. And to that, let's just take a look at how Chuck Schumer has, The bar is in hell for Chuck Schumer, but he has managed to clear it. Maybe one of his best statements on what is happening yet. This was posted yesterday evening.
So now we're in a government shutdown. And you may be asking yourself, how the hell did we get here? Donald Trump and the Republican Party are hell-bent on taking healthcare away from 60 million people, closing community clinics, rural hospitals, nursing homes, all so they can keep giving tax breaks to their billionaire friends. It's a disgrace. So Democrats have 3 words for this. No fucking way. It's literally life or death. We will not let Republicans blow up our healthcare system. And this isn't the first time they've tried to do this.
Total repeal of the Obamacare bill.
Is Schumer cosplaying as Bernie Sanders? No, he's cosplaying as Zoran Mamdani, right? Understand, this is really pandering. I understand that this is all an affect from him. This doesn't reflect where he actually is in his politics. But understand, that's a good thing. It is a good thing that this man is breaking character in order to pretend to play effective politics, because we need effective politics right now. That's what we need. It is good to see, essentially, these centrist Democrats buckling and actually saying, "Okay, all right, we'll play ball. We'll do the thing." That's good. That is a good thing.
Or the second.
The repeal of Obamacare.
Or even the third. You get the point. If Republicans are consistent about anything, it's about taking away health care from...
Oh yeah, no, he's not saving his job here. Just to be clear, we need to primary the fuck out of this guy. But that being said, in this particular moment, we do actually need someone to signal to, the wealthy, out-of-touch liberals or even neoliberals that actually, we do need to go to the mat on this one.
As many of you as possible. Let's dive into the facts. The so-called big, beautiful bill, which is really a big, ugly betrayal, cuts $1 trillion from health care.
Oh God, he's doing the fucking Glenn Beck thing. This is so embarrassing.
And causes the ACA credits to expire. Insurance premiums will go up 93%. As a result, 22 million people pay more, 4 million lose coverage altogether, and even if you don't have ACA...
Why is this still going? Genuinely, it should have been cut after 40 seconds, but there's another minute and a half of this.
Your premiums are going up also. What does it mean in New York? $2,500 increase for those on ACA. Working families can't afford that. And 450,000 people lose their...
No, Chuck Schumer hasn't been taking advice from Bernie Sanders. Basically, all of the Democratic establishment has seen the success of Zoran Mamdani, and they're scared as hell, and they're trying to say, well, if we just copy his social media style, we'll be fine. And they're wrong.
For healthcare. This is not about politics. It's about people. But don't take it from me. Take it from the patients and the providers themselves.
A lot of these patients are losing their care and they cannot go to the preventive care doctor. So where do they go? They come to the emergency department. Unfortunately, the emergency departments are being overflown. They're being overwhelmed.
It really does really bring me to tears. It's really, really sad. We have...
Yeah, I guess George Bailey must really like that Zoran Mamdani guy.
to end up begging, don't make those cuts. Somebody has to stand up for us. We stood up for you. Now you're on our shoulders. Please do the right thing by us.
The beginning of this year marked the first time in recent history where we actually saw a decline in overdose fatalities and fentanyl poisonings. Any reduction in benefits, any reduction in coverage means that those overdose numbers will go right back up. Suicides will go right back up.
This has so little riz, and yet, again, I need to reiterate, the bar is so low that Chuck Schumer is managing to clear it. Because, at the very least, he's like, no, I guess we gotta do our jobs. Aw, man. It's good. That's a good thing.
Anxiety, depression.
The bottom line, Donald Trump and the Republicans have chosen to shut down the government rather than work with us to defuse the ticking time bomb that will blow up healthcare for millions of Americans. Congressional Democrats are on the side of the American people, and together we will fight to make this right.
So yeah, again, a lot of their strategy is to increase pressure on conservative politicians. That's why this ad effectively ends by saying, call your Republican representatives, haha. So, this is a good sign. And I want to also put out there that, folks, is it good during a government shutdown to say to hundreds of thousands of people who are either out of work during the shutdown or worse, being forced to work without pay during the shutdown, that if they're being forced to work without pay, that you're not going to pay them maybe? Is that a good winning strat? Is that going to win over people's hearts and minds at a moment when you need everyone on board for this particular project? No, it's not. It's not gonna win people on board. And this came out again earlier today. White House floats no back pay for some furloughed federal workers despite 2019 law. Hey guys, do people like being illegally stolen from? Do people like it when you steal their wages? Oh, no, they don't like that, actually. Hey, do you need those people to keep the government functional? And now you're saying we're not going to pay you? Guys, when I say that this administration is literally too incompetent to succeed at, its fascist objectives, I do mean it, right? I mean it. They are not capable of doing this. The bad ideas are just flowing. Speaking in the Oval Office on Tuesday, Trump appeared to publicly back a draft White House memo that includes an argument for denying workers pay. Quote, I would say it depends on who we're talking about, Trump said. I can tell you this, the Democrats have put a lot of people in great risk and jeopardy, but it really depends on who you're talking about. For the most part, we're going to take care of our people. There are some people that really don't deserve to be taken care of, and we will take care of them in a different way. And, that's such a not, that none of that meant anything outside of, attempting to divine its content, but with, runic bones or something. It's just insane. What does he think he means by our people? He if you ask him, he doesn't know. He doesn't know. And when you inject this level of uncertainty, it even if you don't actually steal the pay, saying that you might does not endear you to the one of the largest workforces in the country. So I don't know, when we look at how the entire machinery of this government operates, if you're not going to pay people to do it, they're not going to do it. Yeah, no, Nara Neela, who writes, my friend is an air traffic controller. He had to start Uber driving. He's worried they won't pay him despite being furloughed and being legally entitled to back pay. Yeah, no. That's the thing, right?
I'm honestly amazed Schumer didn't name his fictional American couple the Benjamins.
Sake Tanuki, thank you for the 2 tier 1 subs. But air traffic controllers, I believe now we're up to 2 air traffic control towers going dark. Because if you remember at the very beginning of this administration, there was a shortage of air traffic controllers. And they ruined plans to continue hiring more, and then they had to be well, okay, I guess if you're 60 up to 60 years old, you can be an air traffic controller again, and if you previously retired, you can unretire, and we'll pay you. And then they fired a bunch of air traffic controllers. It would, and what you're seeing now is multiple towers going dark because the air traffic controllers are all coordinating together and calling out sick.
I still don't understand why we haven't changed what qualifies as discretionary spending. ATC should be mandatory.
I mean, it really should be, but a lot of things should be, and it just aren't. So, I mean, what we're gonna see here is some pretty interesting things happen relatively quickly, And that's my opinion anyway. Luckily, my FAA facility actually already has funding for the rest of October. We won't have to shut down fully until November. Still, that's not great. I'm glad your facility is taken care of, though. But we are in a time where essentially people are being pushed to their limits. And when you push people to their limits, they're going to start doing things that they normally wouldn't. I mean, we're going in some wacky directions here, but there is evidence here that the GOP is starting to get skittish, we'll say. Starting to get skittish. Here's, as of 5 hours ago, White House draws out mass federal firings timeline as GOP grows squeamish in its funding, right? The Trump administration's strategy to swiftly roll out mass layoffs of federal workers during the government shutdown has shifted in recent days, administration officials familiar with talks told CNN, as an increasing number of Republican lawmakers and Trump administration officials acknowledge the potential political perils of the move. With Democrats having shown no signs of budging in their opposition to a stopgap funding measure that doesn't address their healthcare demands, and a growing number of Republican lawmakers warning about potential blowback, the White House is now planning to hold off at least a little longer on sending out notices of reduction in force, RIFs, as the government firings are typically referred to, despite hoping the threat will still motivate Democrats. And basically what they're finding is, oh no, the threats are not, in fact, moving the Democrats, because the Democrats have realized that these firings are going to happen anyway. So, it's pretty interesting. Here, I want to throw this out there. Jaeger Larson, thank you very much for gifting a sub in Twitch chat. I appreciate that. There's an increasing acknowledgement within the West Wing that the politics of RIFs at the moment, when we know our message on the shutdown is the better one, would be better later. One of the officials said, it's the idea that if we give it more time, it'll be because Democrats truly forced our hand and left us no choice. We do not want to appear gleeful about people losing their jobs, of course. And that's going to be pretty difficult, considering of how gleeful Republicans have been about this effort. Like, you don't bring in someone more gleeful about RIFs than Russell Vought. It's interesting stuff. Like, they are just, again, Republicans are just in a completely different world. And when we're talking about what's happening here, people can't get on board with this shit. They just can't. When you start looking at what ICE is doing, snatching people off the street, when you start looking at, like, Texas invading Illinois, when you start looking at air traffic controllers needing to, like, shut down airports because they just can't justify going to work anymore because they're not getting paid, you're looking at all of the recipe for, like, a losing confrontation between Democrats and Republicans. And Republicans are going to be the losers in this scenario. You know, like, they're not going to come out good. Every single day that this shutdown goes on, more and more people are aware that the Democrats are the ones who are, they're fighting to not have my healthcare premiums go up by several $1,000s every year. Several $1,000s I don't have. Wait a minute, the Democrats are fighting for us, and the Republicans are gleefully cutting jobs and not paying people? Like, this is something that breaks through the normie brain, because so many people rely on the government to actually function. And so when it comes to, like, the hollow rhetoric of Democrats, you know, you take that with a grain of salt every damn day. But when it comes to the actual material conditions that are being put in place right now, Democrats are going to win. Democrats are going to win this. And I'm feeling hopeful. I gotta be honest. I'm feeling pretty hopeful. With all that being said, we've got a lot to talk about tonight, so we're gonna move on. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and see you next time.
Riverboat Jack is coming to town. All the viewers gather round. Twitch and YouTube is where she streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, dating, plenty more. Her sense of fashion you'll adore.